I worked at a local food pantry that had service at 10 to 12 Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But every Wednesday after work, we'd be tasked with the most important aspect of our job, taking out the trash. For 45 minutes a day, we'd fill up 5 vans to the brim with recyclable trash of all kinds. But specifically, plastic. Lots of it. We'd toss into a bin the size of a dump truck in the middle of nowhere. With the blazing summer heat on our backs, I can say with utmost certainty that no one enjoyed doing it. This experience is just a small example of the feelings towards recycling. But let's look how widespread these sentiments are. According to the US PRIG, Public Interest Research Groups, 94% of Americans support recycling. 74% believe it should be mandatory. But only 34% of Americans actually recycle, and these statistics mirror those of other countries. Why is that? Why does everyone care about this, but so little actually contribute to it? Today, I'm going to discuss the reason why recycling material has these sentiments, where it ends up because of our neglect, and finally how we can adapt habits to recycle more from home. Because there is a place for trash, even the smallest piece greatly affects everything around it. Let's talk about how dependent we've become on recycled material first. In particular, let's talk about plastic. According to Our World in Data, plastic is one of the most popular recycled materials there are. Since its invention in 1907, plastic has slowly become the dominating material over the last 100 years. It has become a better substitute than almost all of its competition. It is not only cheaper, but is more durable, flexible, and can last much longer than most metals and glasses. Naturally, with its revolutionary advantages, plastic has made its way into our everyday lives, from our early morning coffee to the plastic containers that preserve our goods in the refrigerators. Plastic has not only become vital, but completely normalized in our world today. As such, we don't really second guess where these amenities will wind up. We just know we have them and that they're here to stay. Unfortunately, that statement is truer than we realize. Plastic and most other recycled material has a lifespan of 500 to 1,000 years. So it's important to note that although it has the title of recyclable, it needs to be properly disposed of in order to be true to its name. So why don't people recycle? Well, according to 3 studies from the US EPA, Oceanic Society, and Emission Tax, it all boils down to a single statement. Why would it matter if I started recycling? This is a toxic mentality, and I'd like to show you what happens when this mentality is allowed to spread. So let's take a moment to discuss the forever home of our trash, our oceans. According to a study conducted by Condo Ferris in 2020, it was estimated that 525 trillion tons of recycled garbage has already been dumped into our oceans. This causes a variety of problems with the most tragic being how marine life reacts to our waste. The saddest example, in my opinion, is what happens when marine life are still surviving today. Because of the amount of plastic waste that winds up in our seas, oceanic acidification has gotten so bad in some areas that most homes of marine life have been reduced to dead zones and are now uninhabitable. Marine life is now reduced to eating garbage, thinking that it's their favorite foods. So what can we do about this? What I've shown here is not the fault of one nation, nor 2, but rather the world in its entirety. A sad reality is that we must accept that we live in a revolutionary time with some things like these happening right under our noses. Now, I'm not blaming anyone who does not recycle. I understand. Recycling is a topic more grown over than any other. So let me introduce 2 innovative habits we can develop from home to make a change. The first, to be aware of what you throw away. Most households are not exactly aware of how much garbage they have is actually recyclable. According to a recent study by the EPA, the average person produces 1 pound of recycled trash per day. So being keenly aware of what exactly can be thrown away and what can be replaced with something more permanent is excellent for recycling. And secondly, set up a bin in your house that is accessible and near your regular trash can. Then label it with something noticeably different than your regular bin. In my house, we have an extra bin labeled with a yellow tape. This will be your recycling bin, and what goes in can be ranged from plastic milk jugs to aluminum cans. It is a great way to encourage recycling at home. Now, these are the only 2 methods I found most effective to encourage recycling habits from home. But it doesn't have to end here. We live in a time where comfort and convenience is everything. But for the sake of our world, we need to step out of our comfort zones, because if we are not careful and see the change we can make, we may live in a future that no one wished for. In the words of Jane Goodall, what you do makes a difference, and you have